Howdy doody, everyone. Welcome to the Dutchman's Wood Shack. I wanted to show you some stuff I've been working on. Right now, I've got to reset my lathe for another project I'm doing. That other project B, let's see if I can get it. I gotta clean this all off. It's too dirty. Okay. First off, see this? That's a piece of maple, right? All right. I think it's a piece of maple. It's either maple or ash. Anyway, outside's got a bunch of wormy stuff on it, you know. Anyway, and it's got a knot, for a branch. And there's the pith. Okay, so the branch is going this way, and it's not going that way, right? Well, here you go. And what I did here was, I'm still sanding it, but that's the way that branch went, like that. All right. So that's what it turned out to be. Now, you went against the pith, and there is little, rough spots in here I got to sand, but I'm leaving this and I'm leaving that. All right. Now, this is the kind of the oddball thing you get when you do that. And I guess some people like that, but I always like to have the bark on the outside. So there you go. That's kind of what I turned that into. Now, typically, a lot of guys say don't turn with the pith, which is that way. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but sometimes it goes against the grain. You don't see the rings, all right? So the idea is to get the rings. If you're doing segmenting, the idea is to see the grain of the wood a certain way. Now, I don't want to say I'm going against the pith because it's a different layout, but again, the idea is to get the grain out. This is the bottom, all right? I'll have a little tenon on the end of this so I can put it on the chuck and hold it and not have the spindle in here. But the top has the same kind of wood, and I moved it around a little bit to make sure that I had different. Now it's a little rough, and two things wrong with this. Well, I don't want to say wrong, but it's a problematic thing. You're going to deal with it more or less depending what kind of wood you use. Right here's when you go across the grain, that's what this does. So you're not going with the grain. This is the end grain. And what I did when I put these together, I did end grain this way, end grain this way, end grain that way. So my end grain, it basically is altered. Now, the problem with this is now we're going to spend a lot more time sanding, but it's still doable. The idea is not to have the end grain. That's why when the other way you do segmenting, gluing things together, you're only doing the side part of the wood. Anyway, enough of that. Here's this. This will be finished in a couple days. That one here, if anybody's interested, it's up for sale. I'll seal it tonight and see what happens with it, and it'll be for sale too. Now, this thing, what I usually do is I find the center. I measure this way and I measure this way. Find the center, both front and back. And then what I do is I put a mark in the middle, like with a pencil, and then I take a center punch and punch it for both front and back, so that when I get through, you can use this as a center punch too. When I get through, I'm like this, right? The other thing is, a lot of times, normally I cut the corners off. Well, this one's kind of tricky. It's not smooth. It's not level. And so if I was to try and cut this on a table saw or radial arm saw, it's not flat and you could cause yourself some bodily harm. So what I'm going to do is just turn it the way it is. So it should be fine. That's what I did with the other one. A little bit more work, you know, with this there, a little bit more work, but it works. Okay, well, the next thing I got to do, again, my bark bowl. And I want to turn this a little bit more. I'm going to flatten this bottom out right now. But that's, and then what I do normally with this lathe, I'll turn this out a little bit further so I can get into it. Now this one won't have a tenon on it, so I'm just going to work it like I did the other one that I made. I'm going to work the bottom the way I can here. Now the bottom is not exactly straight. Okay, so you see it wobble? It goes back and forth like this a little bit. Okay, this part, the top was. Now the idea here is to get this as leveled out as I can. Normally I do that anyway, but I got to be careful with this so I don't chew up the bark too much. So that'll be my next quest. My next quest. Okay, any questions? All right, I'll see you later. This is just a video I'm gonna post. And anyway, you guys have a great day. Bye.